guys, what's up? It's your Ready from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Tampa Honda, and guess what? I have that mid-size two-row SUV that people are talking about all over the place. It's this vehicle right here. This is a 2026 redesigned Honda Passport. This particular one is your entryway into the Passport. It is the RTL trim. But before we get into this all-new redesign of a nameplate that's been around since the early 1990s, let's talk about what's going on here. So Honda is going through their lineup. It's the Passport's turn. We've already brought you the Pilot when they redesigned it and all the great changes. Now we're seeing their two-row midsize SUV getting those changes. Now, what we like to always do here on Rady's Rides is not only just bring you the top trim, which is called the Honda Passport Trail Sport Elite, we like to bring the other trims as well. This, like I said, is your entryway. It is the RTL. There's only 3 trims, RTL, Passport, and Passport Elite. But what I want to find out is if you're looking for an affordable two-row crossover SUV that's got a nice new look to it and V6 power, is this the way to go for your next choice? Let's go ahead. Let's dive into ours and find out. Right off the bat, it's that color, Sonic Gray Pearl. Let me know what you think about it. I think on the RTL, it really fits the new boxy look very nicely. Now, when you go Honda Passport, no matter what trim you go with, you are going to get full LED headlights, LED daytime running lamps, and these are also your turn signals. Working your way down, we have some flat black, and one thing the RTL does not get is no fog lights. So if you want an LED fog light, you're going to have to step it up to the Passport Trail Sport. Another thing you'll notice is they have these block-off plates here in the lower bumper. There's no front toe recovery hooks. On the Trail Sport and the Trail Sport Elite, you get 2 of them. Here, they did a smart way of kind of covering it and not just leaving it open like it had some kind of weird bucktooth look or something. But let me know what you think about the new look of this RTL. And RTL is replacing the EX and the EXL trims on the previous generation of the Passport. Now, as we come across the front grille, you're going to get a little bit of gloss black around the perimeter, flat black on the center, fully functional. I actually like the way they stamped the Passport name into the front bumper. Let me know if you're digging that. I know it's one of those like love it, hate it kind of things. Working our way down, you got flat black on your lower grille, fully functional with active shutters. And then I like the way they did this flat gray all the way across the lower midsection. Gives it a nice kind of different design, so where you could see the design based off the color. If everything was just body color or if everything was just flat black, a lot of this would get lost. So it's nice to see those colors there, and it's nice that it's flat black and flat gray because it'll take a better beating. Now, as we rise up, just like on the Passport Trail Sport, you do get this fake hood vent. Not digging it that it's not functional. I like the way it looks. I just wish it was functional. You got that big broad hood, nicely shaped, nothing too kind of origami with a bunch of folds and creases. And then as we come around the bend, what do we got for you on the RTL? You got all new wheel design, this gunmetal metallic gray finish to it. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this wheel? 18-inch wheel. Tires are 265 on the width, 60 series sidewall. And it's nice to see this vehicle too, because another vehicle you could essentially compare it to would be the Land Cruiser. And remember, the one big thing with the Land Cruiser is that that doesn't have a V6 or a V8. It's got a 4-cylinder turbo. Suspension has been retuned for 2026, and the chassis has been strengthened to give you more rigidity. Let me know if you're okay with the flat black on the fender openings. I know it's an entry trim, but I was kind of hoping for something a little bit different compared to the Passport Trail Sport. But you do have flat black. The good news is it's not like a Subaru Outback Wilderness where like half the fender is plastic cladding. So I guess that's the good news. But let me know in the comment section how you feel about that. Of course, you have your all-wheel drive. front wheel drive base, sends up to 70% of the power to the rear wheels. Now as we come down the side, RTL, you're gonna get flat black on the mirror caps. On the other trims, this is gloss black. No turn signals or anything like that in the side mirrors. From the side, you could tell that this is a little bit longer of a Passport compared to the previous generation. It's also a little bit taller, and it's definitely a little bit wider. You still are gonna get those nice flat black raised roof rails. I like a raised roof rail better because, you know, when you're doing your bungee cords and your tie downs, you can kind of wrap it around there for your, maybe you got a kayak holder or something like that. Flat black on the door handles, I'm still okay with that. It doesn't bother me because it goes well with the flat black along the door sills there. Now, as we come towards the rear, you got this nice large rear quarter glass. They give you an area here with the flat black. This is perfect. So like if you're going to Home Depot and you're picking up shovels and rakes and you're picking up a couple hose, you can lean them up against this portion here and it's not gonna scratch that beautiful Sonic Gray Pearl paint. This is a nice flat black area. So it's a really good place. Like I said, when you're going to Home Depot and you need a place to put your hose, you can put your hose right here. And your hose aren't gonna scratch your new Passport. Now on the back portion, you do have an exposed wiper. I wish that they would hide that underneath the spoiler because it's just like a pimple. It's like a pimple on a teenager's face and I just wanna squeeze it and pop pus all over Steven. Just like up front, the Passport name stamped into the back. I'm glad they didn't do an RTL badge. We don't need to let people know that you got the entry level. Over here it says Trail Sport if you get the Trail Sport trim. And then working our way down to ground level, super clean, just like up front, the flat black, the flat gray. They reshaped everything to give you more ground clearance, better approach angle, better departure angle. If you want your full tow receiver hookup, you need to go with the Passport Trail Sport. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the biggest talking point, what's underneath the hood of this new Passport. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts to hold the hood open. This right now is really the crown jewel of the Passport because the Land Cruiser has a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that's hybrid, because the 4Runner has a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine and a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that's a hybrid as well. This is the only one in its class that really has the V6. What is it? It's a 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6. It's the updated V6. So you have a twin overhead cam engine, 285 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. MPGs, 19 in the city, 25 on the highway, and the vehicle does weigh 4,705 pounds. Another good bit of news is that they changed out the steering rack to give you a better, quicker steering ratio, and they also increased the brake rotor size, especially up front. It's now 13.8 inches. It's quite a big difference from the 12 inches that you had before. You thought you were good with 12 inches. Guess what? We got 13.8 inches, almost 14 inches if you do the math. But why don't we go ahead? We got the V6. Let's fire it up and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside this all-new 2026 Honda Passport RTL trim. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've been thinking about a Passport. I like the new boxy look. My girlfriend in high school had one, and we used to beat the heck out of it, and it just kept running and running and running. How much is this one? MSRP for this particular one is right at $46,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. I like the clean style. Soft touch material up top. There is some gloss black, but you're not going to be touching that at all. I promise you that with the silver trim. Nice contrast stitching on the armrest. And then you're going to have, of course, your off-road Twinkie tray. That is a Honda trademark thing. 8 Twinkies in there. A nice bottle holder for a Super Slurpee. Maybe a McFlurry. And then down below, that's where you could get your 4 cheeseburgers. Now going from the door panel to the dash, soft touch, a little bit of gloss black, but like I said, you're really not gonna be touching that unless there's something wrong with you. Here's where you could put your Krispy Kreme donuts, easily put 6 of them in there. Slide on in, all Passports, not just the top trim, all of them get the 12.3-inch updated infotainment system. It's all touchscreen. You do have a real volume knob. You got the Google suite of all the goodies, and you got wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. What you also get is probably one of the worst backup cameras in the history of the automobile. So you do have trajectory, just very grainy, and you can move the different angles, which is great, but I just wish it was a little bit better resolution. I mean, this is a 2026 model year vehicle. You got your black start-stop button that illuminates red, dual climate control, even on the RTL trim, 3 stages of heated seats, no ventilated seats. Down below, you got a little place for a box of candy cigarettes, 2 USB-Cs, a 12-volt. You do get wireless charging, and you got a place where you could put 6 paydays. 2 cup holders with the flat black. This is going to control your 10-speed automatic. It's all that push button system here. Let me go ahead and put it back in the park so I don't run over Steven. You got your drive mode selector switch, hill descent control. Key fob is in my pocket. I'll have to show you that later. Soft touch with the stitching. Open it up. You could easily put, I would say, 32 ColecoVision game cartridges in there. A lot of people don't remember ColecoVision. Everybody and their mother, Atari. Yes, Atari was great. ColecoVision was pretty killer as well. I remember as a kid, I got a game called Turbo, and the game actually came with a steering wheel and with a pedal. I used to play that game all day. Obviously, it was a racing game. Duh. Used to play it all the time. I wish I had it back. My mom gave everything away. What the hell? Seats, nice soft touch material, a little bit of decorative cloth. You do have power assist for the passenger, power assist for the driver. RTL does not get a sunroof, so something to think about. But why don't you get your butt over here? I want to show you behind the wheel in this new Passport. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings, even on the RTL trim, and you do have your power seat controls. And you even get Passport all-weather floor mats. That's worth an extra 5 horsepower. I'm 6 feet tall. Love the amount of room in here, and I love the fact that this is just 2-row. We don't need a 3-row Passport. Go get yourself a Pilot. Steering wheel, the leather is great. Nice stitching. You got your thumb wheel drive controls. You do have paddles to go up and down that 10-speed automatic. It is a manual tilting and telescoping wheel. And you do have a 10.25-inch digital gauge cluster where you could scroll through a cornucopia of information, even show the all-wheel drive. And then there's our modes. Nice to have all the different modes. Ooh, makes a weird, look at that. Sounds like one of my old ColecoVision games called Zaxxon. Used to love that game. If you know what that game is, you're cool, man. And then, of course, Sport. Steven doesn't know what that game is, so we know he's not cool. But no head-up display in an RTL trim. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat and see if your passengers are going to enjoy you getting a new Passport. All right, guys, back seat time, and you're actually getting a lot of room because guess what? We don't have to squeeze in a 3rd row. The good news is, look at the way they do the stitching. So they didn't go cheap on the stitching. Nice large pockets. You could put, I would say, 2 calzones in there, man. I'm freaking hungry right about now. Nice big calzone. I know calzones, not everybody loves a calzone, but if you're old school Italian, you like calzones. Little command center here. You do have your AC vents and 2 USB-Cs, which is nice. Plenty of freaking room. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm not even close to the headliner. You even get a nice armrest. Just enough room for an arm, so I don't have to zonk it, with 2 cup holders. And then the one thing I have to do here is we have to just fix that. There we go. Same seat material and the way they did it with the stitching and everything as the front seats, which isn't always the case. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to that cargo area because I want to go for a drive in this Passport. All right, guys, time to get in the cargo area. What's nice is even the RTL trim does have a power lift gate. You're going to be greeted to so much room back here. 44 cubic feet of space. I love how Honda engineers their interiors to be usable. Think about the supplies you could put here. Let's say you're one of those like sneakerheads. You can load this up with about 100 grand worth of shoes. You could put your prized possessions, that special pair of Jordans from the movie Back to the Future 2. Those Nikes, you could put a box here, a box of Jordan 1s on the other side. And then of course, you do have a 12 volt, which is nice. You could plug in like a little disco ball and lay out your shoes and like have the disco ball spinning back here, make like a little light show. What's even better is you even have more room under here. Here's where you could hide some. Say you're not supposed to get any more shoes. This is where you could hide them. Just remember, secrets don't make friends. Just want to say that. Rear seats, 60-40 split. They do fold down. That's going to give you over 80 cubic feet of space. So you could get even more shoes. You could be one of those people that drive around the country and just buy and sell shoes. You could do that. But if you're ready, I'm ready. I don't want to use my shoes right now because I don't want to walk. I want to drive. I want to go for a spin in this all-new Passport. Let's get to it. All right, guys, we're inside this 2026 Honda Passport RTL trim. And right away, I just love the interior in here. And it's interesting because the RTL doesn't have a bunch of cloth like the Passport Trail Sport trim does. Now, when you go up to Elite, you get leather. But I'm digging all the soft touch in here. Nice, clean look. And getting to that new 12.3-inch infotainment system well within reach. Remember, the Pilot doesn't even have this yet. Because the Pilot, when it got redesigned, this wasn't available yet. The first Honda to get this infotainment system was the Honda Accord. Now, of course, you got to go around people sometimes when they're just sitting in the road, not doing what they're supposed to. And let's talk about the chassis. So the chassis is more rigid. You might think that's a bad thing. It's not. It's a really, really, really good thing. It causes less vibration to get into the cabin. It enhances your handling and just overall driving dynamics. Love the way that all these just come with all-wheel drive, as they should, and that naturally aspirated V6. Linear torque delivery. You're not waiting for boost. There's no hybrid, technology with it, so you don't have to worry about it getting extra complicated. It's just a V6, 3.5 liter, but it is the updated V6 that the Pilot got that gives you a little bit more horsepower and whatnot. But the 10-speed automatic is mated so nicely with the V6, and it doesn't chase through the gears like some of the other brands do. What I also like about the Passport is that the Trail Sport is your off-road trim, and it is a real off-road spec. Tires, the skid plates, the recovery tow hooks. I like the way this RTL is just perfect for daily commuting and driving on the asphalt jungle rather than the traditional jungle with mud and ruts and leaves and all those types of things. But the seats are super comfy. You got your wireless charging, which is great on the RTL trim, and it comes nicely optioned. I don't care for a sunroof, but I know a lot of people do, so you're gonna have to look at that and maybe go Passport Trail Sport to get the panoramic. They have a panoramic sunroof, which is nice. Better than your standard sunroof. Maybe it would have been a nice touch for the RTL to have a standard size sunroof. But MSRP of $46,000, far cry from the starting MSRP for a Land Cruiser 1958. Those start at $55,000. The 4Runner is going to be the closest, but remember, you're getting a 4-cylinder turbo when you go SR5 trim with, well, you're getting a 4-cylinder turbo no matter what trim you go with, but it's a non-hybrid setup in your SR5. But you got your connectivity, the dual climate control, really nice switch gear in the Hondas. And one thing about all Hondas is that they have great steering, great communication through the front wheels. And on this Passport, it's even enhanced because of the stronger steering rack and the quicker steering ratio. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what is the big deal about a quicker steering ratio? Well, it'll allow you to take a turn a lot quicker or get out of somebody's way, or if there's something in the road, but it also allows you to make a U-turn lickety split. I don't know if you heard the beeping. Of course, this does have Honda sensing technology. So you have your lane keep assist, emergency brake assist, all those goodies. And I like how easy the 10.25-inch screen is to read at a quick glance. It's got your speedometer top dead in center. And just really smooth. That's the big thing. They increased the sound deadening material on all the trims, including the RTL. So you're gonna get a quieter ride on the interior with the cabin. And the seats are fantastic. They really do support you well, and they're comfortable so that you can feel good at the end of your big commute, and you can also feel in control when you're behind the wheel. Of course, with those increased brakes, you're getting better braking capability, and they really went all in on the modes, man. I mean, to have all those different modes, and each one is very unique and specific to itself. But we're gonna go on throttle here and see how the all-wheel drive behaves in this Passport. Are you ready? On throttle, here we go. 10-speed drops down and we're off. Smooth on the shifts. Here comes the handling. Nice, look at that. They really do a great job with the handling. Of course, I do have it in sport mode right now. That's gonna quicken the steering feel, also the throttle sensitivity. And then watch this, I'm gonna make a U-turn right here. We're not even gonna touch the grass or anything. Here we go, look at that. Lickety split. On throttle, here we go. You can hear that V6 doing its thing. Not a bunch of body roll, which is great. It's super controllable, predictable, and that all-wheel drive system is just fantastic. It really is. But I'm hoping that this has been a good, quick overall review of what the RTL trim is bringing. We're gonna get back to Tampa Honda and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another great day in so many ways here in Tampa Bay. I'm a poet, I didn't even know it. Definitely want to thank everybody here at Tampa Honda. Get us access to one of their very first 2026 Honda Passports, especially this one being the RTL trim. Let me know in the comment section, what are your thoughts? Are you going with this for the money over vehicles like the 4Runner, over the Land Cruiser, and anything else in its class? Let me know in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rides family. Gotta get up to Stephen Flood. He's up to film anything, especially a new Honda Passport for you. He knows you're very excited. He's very excited as well. He's trying to contain himself. So thank you, Stephen, for all that you're doing. Just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.